Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 164th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we are discussing why should you support Black businesses. Before we dive deep into the subject, it's your favorite time of the day, Tasha's monologue. Woohoo! It's a party. Are you ready?
I think so.
Excellent. You sound like you're ready to die. So with that, let's get it started. Have you downloaded this episode by going to WokeNFree.com and you proceeding to the Podbean app to download the episode, you rock, because that is how you actually join the conversation. If you download it, that is how you're able to add your thoughts in the comments, and you can tell us what Black businesses you do support, whether you agree with that philosophy, whether you don't, whether you're like, convince me, I don't know. Either way, whatever your thoughts and philosophies and ideology is on this, we want to hear from you. Join the WokeNFree Wednesday conversation by putting in your comments by downloading the episode. Now, if you're saying to us, Tosh, Khalil, we love you, we want you, we need you, right back at you, booze, but you just can't download another app for some reason, then please just make sure that you are subscribed to the show on whatever platforms you're catching this on. So whether that's iTunes or TuneIn or Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, we're on 30 plus platforms. So just make sure wherever you're catching it, if you don't want to download the app, then make sure you're subscribed, you're following, and you're liking wherever you can catch the show at there. Now, if it comes to, when it comes to sharing, usually sharing is a caring, but absent things like COVID-19, like racism, like discrimination, like sexism, like bigotry, all of those things, those suck. Those are not things to share. But you know what is good to share? WokeNFree. All right. Share it with your friends and family. Get the word out. Why? Because when you like things, you share it, right? Don't act a fool, guys. And it's simple to share. You can send it via email. You can send it through social media. You can text it, guys. Send people the episodes and get them in the conversation. When it comes to social media, you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest at WokeNFree. Guys, the TikTok is popping. Make sure you're catching the content. There's a lot of time and attention that goes in there.
Definitely. You know who be working on it.
Exact. Definitely not you.
Why do you have to put that all out there? Why you gotta
because I'm trifling like that.
You gotta spread all this information and stuff.
Yeah, we keep it real woke and free here. So
come on, I'm trying to do stuff like our leadership and talk in different kind of words that you don't understand. Come on, please. I'm trying to lead you over here while the real action's happening over there.
And when it comes when it comes to reviewing the show, if you have 90 seconds, yes, 90 seconds, guys, you can make white rice, which is amazing. But also, you can review the show. I'm never going to stop saying that. I love that. Eventually, but I love white rice in 90 seconds. That's amazing. Sticky white rice, we're talking, guys. Now, back to what you need to do. Review the show. Now, pick your platform of choice. If you go to WokeNFree.com and you pick tap on the listen page, then you can pick your platform for where you want to review the show at. But definitely make sure you're reviewing the show and getting feedback to us. Specifically, we love it when we get 5-star reviews on iTunes. That is amazing, guys. So give us your stars. Give us your reviews. We appreciate you. We love you. Scene end.
Now, you brought up the sharing stuff. That just made me think you can't share guacamole now with people, right? That would be against the rules, too. With
tacos? And you mean like that?
Well, some people have it with nachos or chips, but you can't share it, right? Like if you go to a restaurant
with COVID-19.
Yeah, now with everything that's happening, now you can't share dips like people used to.
I think
guac
people are still
salsa.
Sharing bodily fluids, so I think that guac is still...
but I mean, that's among
the realm of possibility.
That's among consenting adults, but I'm talking about just
guacamole.
Food. No, because kids eat guac too.
You're going down a really weird path right now.
No, I'm just saying, now when you go to a restaurant, you have dips, can you share that with your friends now? I just thought about that.
I don't know what type of weirdness you're asking me, but I'm just going to go with no.
Oh, so now, you can't share. They even bring out the dips if you're They have to still bring the dips out. See, I don't.
They
even
might
know.
be in individual little containers or something.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't experienced it. I'm not sure. I'm just wondering. Did you keep talking about what you can't share? I just thought about that. I mean,
well, my biggest concern is racism and sexism and bigotry and things like that. You're thinking about guacamole, like
I'm thinking about things that people share on a daily basis, right?
Like racism and sexism and bigotry.
I think. Oh, which shared more? I think guac.
You're trifling.
I'm just taking a guess.
Trifling.
I'm going to go through the data.
As a black man, for you to say that is
no. What's shared more though? I can't. I mean, if you really think about it,
racism.
You're saying that. I don't know if that's to be true. We'd have to. I don't even know how you would research that.
Like that. I mean, people.
How would you research it? Which is being shared more, dips or chips?
See, I mean, and it sounded like you're about to say something else too. So
no, that's just you being a dirty-minded individual. That's all it is.
I think
children wouldn't take it a different way.
200, Alex.
This wasn't a question for Cardi B. I mean, come on, let's get together.
With that wop do.
This wasn't nothing for her. This was just a straight, simple question about dips and sharing them. I don't know. I don't know what happens. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I guess it's a question we'll never answer.
It's gonna have to be answered at some point if you can share the dips or not.
I like a different word with the D word though.
All right, daring. I know that's a very daring thing. Daring clap. Yep, I agree. The claps were good.
Yeah, keep it moving.
People also want to clap to get to know us too. You know, that's an exciting thing.
Nice transition.
Yeah, because every week we like to share a little bit about us before we dive into the topic for the episode. Last week, as you know, we shared, would you rather study astronomy or astrology? This week, well, of course, what do you think we're asking? Which Mexican dip do you prefer, salsa or guac? I mean, how did those things just match up for random reasons? It wasn't because I might have just had guacamole either.
Muy bueno. I will always be a guac girl over salsa. Like, good salsa is delicious, but most often the salsa I've had has not been so great. And I just love avocado. The Jamaican in me, my Jamaican heritage just like really calls for avocado all the time. My mom was a big fan of it. And I also am a huge fan of guacamole. So guac all the way. Y tú?
So avocado's the Jamaican thing, you would say?
Well, in my Jamaican family, we always had like avocados with like, we'll have it with our plantain and our rice and, you know, oxtail or like, avocado was a big thing for us. A lot of Caribbean and Jamaican people love it.
All right. That's a good point. I didn't actually like guacamole at all until you like introduced it to me. I was very scared of it. It looked like a scary creature thing from a B movie from like the 60s or something. But I would have said salsa in the past for sure, but now I am actually over into the guac side.
Guacamole.
Yeah. Now, you know, we've been talking about the guac and the salsa, but aren't there other cultural businesses that exist that they serve their own sort of dishes
you think you're
and
on
services?
CNN, huh? These transition sentences. Good job, Sarah. Good job. Yes, there are actual other cultural businesses that one could consider and even consider supporting, such as black businesses. As why should you support black businesses? Yes, that's sort of where I was going to lead. I was going to get to a question very similar to that, and it was about just multicultural businesses, otherwise known as black businesses. The question would end up being very similar to what you just proposed, because we've got to support our businesses, right? But do you know why should we support these black businesses? Yes, I do. Now, there's a great website that I stumbled upon that is, well, I don't want to say it's great, but I stumbled upon a great article on this website called greenamerica.org. And they had like 6 main reasons why people should support black businesses. And I thought we would go through them and just kind of quickly run through the information. 1, closes the racial wealth gap. We can trace the origins of today's racial wealth gap to Jim Crow era practices like redlining and job discrimination, which segregated blacks from higher paying jobs and home ownership opportunities that ultimately prevented wealth building. Then the 1935 Social Security Act did not afford coverage to domestic and agricultural workers, many of whom were African American, and its requirements for residency and payroll information also excluded large number of blacks working menial, off-the-book jobs and migrating north at the time. Now, today, the median wealth for white families is about 12 times that for black families, averaging around 140K. And 1 in 4 black households have zero or negative net worth compared to less than 1 in 10 white families without wealth. And even more concerning is that by 2053, the median wealth for black families is projected to fall to 0. Wow, that's horrifying. If that's, verifiable. And then also...
Yeah, there's some statistics behind that. You can look that up. It's not out of nowhere.
And then small businesses and entrepreneurs have been around for a long time. And these are, building wealth builders in our society. By supporting more Black-owned businesses and Green Americans, this website, the people behind it, can create more opportunities for meaningful savings, property ownership, credit building, and generational wealth. So I thought that number 1 point was a banger. Like, that's a very good point, that like there have been systematic racial systematic practices that have led to the degradation of Black family wealth in this country. So by supporting Black businesses, essentially you're kind of clawing back a little bit more opportunity and stability for Black America. So I think that's a huge point. Number 2, they talk about strengthening local economies. They mention a 2017 study by the National Community Reinvestment Coalition actually found that banks were twice as likely to provide business loans to white applicants than Black ones, and 3 times as likely to have follow-up meetings with white applicants than more qualified Black ones. And if consumer spending accounts for 70% of the entire U.S. economy, imagine what directing some of that spending power to Black-owned businesses across the country could do. 48% of small businesses' purchases are recirculated locally, compared to only 14% of what's circulated by chain stores. Supporting Black-owned businesses, in turn, supports families, employees, and other business owners, as well as attracts community investors who provide banking services, loans, and promote financial literacy. All the things that build economic strength. So again, the circularness of how our economic system works is further evidence for why supporting Black businesses is more than just like going into a shop and just buying something, but it's like, it really has greater impact. It's kind of a bit of a domino effect there. So that's interesting. Third point is fostering job creation, which is definitely self-evident. If more Black business owners have more business, then they're able to hire more people and possibly even hire more people of color. So that, again, it's kind of building more opportunities for people that look like you and I. And that is, if that's important to, making sure that not just one proportion or one group of our society is thriving in business, but that people of different shades and hues and backgrounds can as well. So there's that. Number 4 is celebrate Black culture and service communities. So definitely Black-owned businesses can, some of them, not all of them, but some of them do tend to dabble in Black-oriented or cultural products and services. And those are things that, like hair braiding companies or companies that offer certain types of hair products or certain types of body things or certain type of nutritional things for the Black woman or the Black community is very much needed. And when we can have businesses that do that and we can support them, which further enhances our Black identity and our ethnicity and our cultural needs and wants, that's just like meaningful on both levels, right? Yay, we're doing good, but also we're feeding what we want as a consumer, which is super cool. Number 5, holds other companies accountable. Now, they refer to this. You've probably heard about Gucci's highly offensive sweater design, reassembling blackface. Yeah, I remember when that came out.
Yeah.
While Gucci's under fire now for all of the decision-making that went into the design's approval and eventual release, it's not an isolated incident, which is true. Many large companies vocally support minorities and their diverse cultures, but practice policies that keep systems of injustice intact. So whether it's H&M's unsound marketing, Starbucks removing people from its store. So incidents like that where there were kind of missteps, and those missteps wouldn't probably have been made if there were more people of color in the boardroom making those decisions who could identify what the problem with blackface is. Because if you have no reference point to that, which a lot of people don't, then it's simple to make that mistake.
So with that thing, it's interesting though, because it's like, it could have just been the marketing team that made a bad call. And all right, so if the marketing team had more of
people of color,
culture on there, then they could have said that. But we shouldn't, it's kind of messed up like to condemn the corporation and say, the president shouldn't have let that happen. He may have never seen the marketing materials.
Oh, I think
so. I wouldn't want to blame H&M.
I mean, I would hope that the average American
I
knows
blame the
that
marketing
this is a
team.
marketing
I don't blame
mishap.
all of H&M.
No,
and then same thing with Starbucks. Starbucks. We can't go to the president and the CEO of
Any
Starbucks
company
and say
that's
something.
made a misstep, it's because there's been a lack of cultural connectivity. And so,
especially when you have franchisees, because they can do almost anything they want.
Correct.
Like, corporation's not there every day like, hey, what are you doing from your day-to-day operations?
Yeah, but either way, whether it's a big one conglomerate or franchisees, companies make mistakes. I think we as American people have to be impassioned for that. But we also, we are tired of having black mistakes happen, right? Where it's like offensive to our community.
So we need we got to push for, like you said, we got to push for things for policies that help prevent things like this from happening. Mm-hmm. So that's what you want to do. So when an incident happens, you shouldn't say, we got to cancel Starbucks or whatever. You can't, that's to me, it's very extreme. You just say, hey,
we have to get away from cancel culture, but what we have to do is have more efforts and initiations where companies understand what is offensive to black people, what's offensive to Hispanic people, what's offensive to Asian people, Indian people, and so forth. All people of color have to be represented. It's easier for companies not to make these mistakes when, like I said, when the boardroom and people making decisions like these are reflective of the community that they're serving. Yeah. So, having more diversity is critical there.
That's great. Yeah.
And then the sixth point that they mentioned is visibility and representation in the green economy. So prosperity of a green economy depends on the celebration of diversity by and for all people. The green movement has historically and presentedly wrestled with a lack of diversity in its activism and representation, but Green Americans can change this. Bringing attention to black and minority-owned businesses can go a long way in demonstrating that the green movement is everybody's movement. And when minority-owned businesses have a financial platform to stand on, they inspire more people to join the green economy. So this is a plug for joining this green America, movement.
Do you know what? I really don't know what this is about. I gotta admit, I'm in the dark on this one.
You are now listening to WokeNFree.
WokeNFree. WokeNFree.
WokeNFree.
WokeNFree.
A podcast about being real and honest.
So based on just kind of a quick overview of their website, essentially they're speaking to a movement that is about having socially responsible and environmentally friendly products and businesses. And the promotion of kind of what they're putting in this article is that they feel like there's a space for having that forward movement in business that is, going to be better for our environment, but also better for communities like Black people. So it seems like it is positive in nature and definitely progressive. I would definitely want to look more into them because, I definitely don't remember learning more about them previously in our either academic or professional lives.
Yeah, that's true. And you mentioned some good points of why we should support Black businesses. Those were pretty, I guess, I don't know if they were convincing for everybody, but they were very informative, though. I will definitely say they're informative.
You don't think they were convincing to you, though?
I mean, they're interesting, but I don't know. If I was on the other side of it,
what would you say?
It's easier for me being a Black person. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a self-interest, but I don't know that those things don't kind of like stimulate me to make me think that we need to, like me as a minority, should I support them? I mean,
well, that's a problem then, because that we don't need to convince ourselves.
I mean, I would want to be equal,
but we also need to convince others.
So I mean, people want to treat people equally, but I mean, I guess it's how you put out the information is the thing. So I mean, the information
it could have been jazzier. You're saying, right?
Yeah, it needed to kind of like say, okay, how does this affect me as a person? Not like just
speak more to the audience of
non-Black
so
I did.
People.
I mean, I had some points on how it could actually help out people that aren't in those communities. And you mentioned that these businesses, they don't like you did mention like redlining that happened in the past, and I found an article about redlining that, as we know, it fostered discrimination among Blacks, and it still does to this day. And it actually prevents the businesses from developing because banks actually didn't offer government insured loans to majority Black neighborhoods. Oh. And, the money that's going into the Black neighborhoods, a lot of the money comes from the local businesses actually. So if you're not funding them, then those businesses suffer. And just looking at statistics, and I'll lead up into the part about how it like helps others. but there's some statistics about like the dollar as it circulates is that it only spends about 6 hours in the black community, while it spends 17 days in the white community, 20 days in the Jewish community, and 30 days in the Asian community. So
you got that from Killer Mike on the Netflix show, right? He talks about that in that episode on that show he has on Netflix. I
he talks about it, but I got it from
he
the
might have
source here.
referenced it
I have my sources listed, cool. So I did actually get that, and it's a lot of people are claiming that. I don't know how they get the information,
that's horrifying.
So just like a tidbit for thinking about that is that, all right, so this money is only spending 6 hours in the black community. Where else is it going? It's going outside the community. So then what do you think happens then? These communities still need money. Guess what? We need money from the government, right? We're going to need more financial help. Where do we get that money from? Yeah, we can get it locally, but we also get federal funding. Who gives federal government money? Taxpayers. So guess what's happening, people? Because this community is not helping to support itself, it's going to need federal support, right?
So taxpayers have to pay.
Yeah, so you end up footing the bill anyway. So
you might as well keep your money in your community.
You might as well spend into black communities, because then they don't have to take money out of your pocket without you even asking, kind of thing. Because it leads to higher taxes. I mean, that's
that's
something to think about. That could be compelling. I don't live in your neighborhood, but I don't want to fund your neighborhood
that is a very
randomly. So let me just buy some products from you, because now you guys will be. It'll help you out.
It'll make them more self-sufficient.
It'll help your business flourish. That's one thing to think about. And then kind of in that manner, I've never heard this question asked, but I mean, I think about it, and I'm sure this is going through somebody's mind. Is it racist to knowingly support a business only because it is black owned?
Well, again, racism is a construct, right? And race is a construct that doesn't really exist. It only exists in the minds of human beings. And we've decided to give it meaning and all of this, but like supporting a business for the purpose of getting some type of need satisfied is the purpose of business, right? There's a problem and this business has a solution. Knowingly going to a business that knowingly gives you the same solution for your particular problem I don't think there's anything racist about it. I think it's very pragmatic and very pointed in trying to solve your solution. Now, one could argue if multiple solutions exist, like if there's a white business and a black business and an Asian business and a Hispanic business, and you keep going to the black business, then that is that a problem? I think that it's not necessarily a problem, because when asked, I'm sure white people who don't support non-white businesses and Asian people who don't support, so I think it to me, it seems funny to ask that question for us, because I don't ever think it's ever asked the other way. I think that you should support.
But no one ever says, "Oh, go and support that white business." I guess they don't say it out loud.
Yeah,
but what do they actually do with their money, though? Yeah, like where do they actually spend their money?
Going there
are some people that do that literally, like you said, only patronize people of their culture. So
I don't think it has anything to do with racism. I think this is about what business serves your needs. And if you happen to have your needs served only by black businesses, then I don't think that that's a problem. I think it's about getting the solution solved. So whatever business is able to do that for you, you should do that. Now, the added benefit of having that business be owned by someone that looks and talks like you is cultural satisfaction. It's also building our community and also trying to right the wrongs that were done against this community, not by our own doing, because we did not enslave ourselves here. We did not do and create redlining against us, right? So, I think that we're trying as a community to make our country as great and as big and as powerful as possible. And a part of that is correcting the wrongs that this country has done. And a part of that is supporting black business. So no, I don't think it's racist. I think it's pointed solutions that you're looking for.
Yeah, I think it's similar to like affirmative action. It's like giving you opportunities where the opportunities don't exist. Yeah. So some people, people do try to classify affirmative action as racist, but
it's righting the wrongs. I don't think it is. Again, we weren't allowed to go to college like everyone else for many, many years. The only schools we could go to were historically black colleges. So
so it's kind of it is trying to make a correction for. Some of these things that were not correct.
Guys. We're not there. We're not even close.
Yeah, definitely.
And it sounds like we're in trouble based on that stat of having the Black family value go down
to
to
zero. Yeah, I mean,
that
I don't
seems
know
like
what that
our
means.
community is going to be struggling in the next 20, 30 years. So
Whenever
things
that
to think
happens,
about.
that does not sound like a
Good situation.
fun times for anybody there. Yeah, supporting these local Black businesses, it benefits the community that they're in. And like you were saying, it brings more jobs. It also brings more private development in the community.
Yep.
You might build out more community centers and activities for people to do. That leads to more economic growth, etc. For communities that they don't receive the money from these big corporations. Like you mentioned a statistic earlier, like 14% the money goes somewhere else. It's not going to the communities that are actually giving the money.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I think it's like a way to level the playing field. When you put money into communities in need, that leads to a decrease in poverty, which leads inversely to prosperity for the community as a whole. And it then, like I was saying before, now you need less supplement from the government. You don't need them to step in and say, oh man, we got to inject all this funding because they don't have all the resources they need. If people just spend in the Black businesses locally, they'll have the funding. Those Black businesses reinvested in their community. So I think it's a good way of more equally distributing the wealth instead of just funding the outside corporations who don't give back to your community.
Yep. Now, how have Black businesses played a role in your life?
In my majority Black neighborhood, when I was growing up, we had like a handful of Black businesses, and I gotta admit, I mean, I used to patronize them, but I never considered like the movement of money or anything. I just kind of went. I didn't really think about, oh, this is a Black person. I should go here.
Yeah.
That never came to mind. I didn't really have the thought of that.
And you look for a solution.
Yeah, but I think the real substance came from like going to flea markets and street fairs where I learned more about the different cultures. And that's where I learned there's not really a thing such as Black culture. I think that's kind of messed up. I think what it really comes down to is there's different countries and they have different cultures because
like everywhere
you have
else,
Jamaican, you have Guyanese, you have Nigerian, you have Cherokees. All those cultures are different. They're not the same. They do different practices. But to say that it's just a Black culture is kind of like, I don't know. I learned that I didn't see like a Black culture. I saw different cultures that somebody might lie and say these are just all Blacks kind of thing.
No, there's no such thing there's no country named Black, right?
Yeah. They might just say, oh yeah, let's just group them all together.
Similar to other cultures
different practices.
Where you have Italian and Greek and people from Italy,
Sicily.
I mean, all of those people have their cultures. The same needs to be said of each and every one of us with Black heritage in us. That we're not just Black, but we are But I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is
race. We're just talking about a fake thing. I mean, we can say African heritage because that's more close. Because at least, we shared a continent, but did we share not even a color, the Black? I mean,
but like I said, when someone tells me they come
absence
from
of light.
a country that's called Black, then fine, then you can be Black.
And if you show me a Black people, there are no people that are Black.
No, we're all brown.
Yeah, there's no people.
Black,
there's
Hispanic,
no. We've
Asian,
never
we're all just
seen.
Different colors
Never
brown.
seen a Black person. Not a literal Black person.
Yeah.
I've seen Black dogs though.
Yes, there's a Black Labrador, Black Retriever. Yes,
we don't come in that hue. I guess skins don't turn that color.
But it's a construct, right?
It is, yeah. So we're going along with the construct with this whole episode. So
yeah.
But I just had to mention it there that to say the Black cultures, I didn't really. There's no Black culture.
Overreaching and it's inaccurate. There's different nations that people have cultural ties to, and we should represent that like any other people do. Now, my answer for this would be similar to you, that like I don't think I ever thought about like the impact of what it meant to go and shop at stores in Harlem that could sell me like kente cloth or certain hair products that my mom was looking to help with my hair and stuff like that. But now looking back, I think what I always appreciated was just even having that ability to be able to go into a store and get products that had pictures or at least some resemblance of myself. Because I think for me, growing up in Manhattan and the time that I did, it's Black identity is something that I had to figure out because I do come from Caribbean born parents who they their identity is Jamaica, right? Like they don't identify with the African American experience. And so, but I was born here, so I'm an African American with Jamaican ties, and I had to try to make amends of what that means, because that is different. Like firstborn Caribbean children born here are constantly battling like their Caribbean culture and what their family is all about versus what you are experiencing and how you're talking and what you're dealing with. And I thought it was always comforting. Like I thought, because I was always one of 4 or 10 Black people in my school, and it was always nice to be able to go to Harlem and be around so many people that look like me, because that was not my neighborhood. And to be able to pick up a product that had a little girl with Afro puffs like me, right? Like for me, it was just emotionally soothing, because
I grew up around that.
It was distressful not growing up with Black people, because I didn't understand what that meant to be a part of a Black community that I rarely saw outside of my family. And again, like I said, it was like, I wouldn't think African American when I looked at my family, I would think Jamaica. So, and it's just, so this like tribalism and, us versus them constructs, it's challenging and it's pointless, because we're just one race, the human race, and we just need to stick to that and keep it moving.
There's no species within the human race.
Yeah, just one.
Just one.
Just human beings.
No subspecies.
You're human. Excelente.
In addition to shopping with the Black business, how else can you support Black businesses?
So yeah, in addition to shopping, if you have money, and a lot of us will even say, oh, we don't have money. Like you can spare $10, $20 a month and support a Black business. So definitely use the money, put your money where your mouth is, but also leverage social media. Even if you don't have a dime to your name, do you have a social media account that you can share the company with? Can you message it to people? Can you post about it on your feed of whatever platforms you're on? Can you also email 10 of your friends a month and ask them to check out the business or support the business? If you happen to be a writer, if you happen to be a journalist, a blogger, a podcaster, can you incorporate them in the content that you put out there as content creators? Like there's so many different ways to get the word out. Like I said, look how quickly WAP got around, right? Like everyone and their mama is singing about WAP. How many weeks later? If we can do that for WAP, I'm not quite understanding why some businesses go out of business, or some businesses, they struggle to get, one customer. And it's like,
well, because WAP is free.
Wow, there's a lot that's being said there. There's lot that's actually not always free. So there's that.
Yeah, but at least it can be. And that's why it spread so fast.
Like COVID-19. That's a good one.
It is free. That's free too, yeah.
COVID-19
You don't have to pay to play. That's the thing.
Unfortunately not. Yeah,
there's no buy-in for this. No minimum bet. So that's the interesting part.
How do you think people can support businesses without just their money?
This is, it was a hard question to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about it. You mentioned some good things. The thing I came up with is just recommending them to friends and family. So you can use a social media platform, but I guess you can directly share it to friends and family too.
True.
Just send them a text like, hey, check this out. Or what I do too, because it's like I purchased from a Black business to get my polo shirts. And I guess you can put this in the links, the Baobab.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the best polo shirts ever.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So what I do is I tell my family and friends about it. I'm like, hey, you should buy these shirts. These are you don't have to get any other polo shirt. And it's not, there are a Black business, but the quality is banana. I don't know of any other company that matches them. Nobody else matches them. I'm not even I'm not trying to be particular to them. I'm just really giving them their praise that's due.
They're beautiful design.
They fit well, anti-wrinkle.
They did not get a deal, unfortunately, because
times are different, but they are going to open up an investing time too. So look out for that too. They are going to allow some new investors.
Cool.
So they're going to open up another funding round.
Definitely. Well, you guys will get the link.
Yeah, we'll put the link in there.
WokeNFree.com.
But just stuff like that. Just say, hey, I got this shirt from them. It was really good. If you want to get a shirt, make sure to buy through them.
Cool.
Here we go, yo. So what's a scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Di is very hungry and can grab a bite to eat at the local fast food chain, or drive 30 minutes to a health-conscious Caribbean Black-owned establishment. Should he take the time to go to the Black-owned business, or save the money and walk to the chain restaurant?
Oh, so that's an interesting question because it's both the question of should you support black business, but then also should you endanger the planet by driving and putting out more toxins?
I mean, that's one way to see it, I guess. I didn't even see that.
Oh, yeah. That to me, that's what stood out to me in that question. That's interesting. So right. I'm torn, but I mean, first of all, the Jamaican.
And remember that the Jamaican, this is a health conscious Caribbean restaurant.
I know, I love that
so
too.
So you can actually get a healthier version.
I would say it sucks on the environment, but he should, sorry, what is, die is a he, his pronoun? He? Okay.
Yeah.
So he should, unfortunately, hurt the earth a little bit more, and drive to the health conscious Caribbean black owned restaurant because your health is wealth and you could eat local fast food, but you're probably going to most likely, not necessarily, but most likely detract from your health. And it doesn't matter if you save time in the interest of being hungry, because if you die 10 years earlier, you would have wished and hoped that you would have just went further for the health conscious food. So go a little bit further, pump out more carbon and, stuff into the air, but it hopefully will make you live longer. So I don't know where the earth will stand. But, that's where I stand with him.
All right. Well, the easy answer to this is Di bought an electric vehicle, so he charges at home.
But that wasn't stated, so that's an assumption that you're making.
But you assume that he only had a polluting vehicle, right? That's what you assume.
I did make that assumption.
See, so we don't know.
You're making the assumption he has an electric car.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's charging at home. Like, he's not messing up and getting the worst polluting vehicle he could.
If that's the case, then he's in good standing, good stuff.
Yeah, better standing than just, like you said, just driving and polluting for an hour. That would actually be worse because cars are very inefficient when it comes to that.
Yep.
So, I mean, to me, this one's easy because that's crazy. He found a health conscious Caribbean place. Like, that part just bugs me out. Like, if you find that, you always go to that then. That's that's a no-brainer to me. Compared to the local fast food, even if it costs more and you have to drive farther, it's health conscious. That's good. And it's tasty food. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Supporting a black business, it's like you're hitting like 3 marks for really easy. That's nice.
It's really crazy.
I agree with that. Scenario 2. Nithia was working with some Sudanese web designers who overcharged her for her pet care store website. She decided the work they did was subpar and is looking for a new web designer. Should she be wary of her past experience and avoid web designers with African heritage?
What kind of horrible phrasing question is that, Khalil?
What? This is a scenario. This is a scenario that presented itself. This isn't based off any real life situations.
This is a perfect example of something that would come out of someone's ignorant mouth.
This is real though, yeah.
And so this is a great opportunity for us to address that if you have a bad experience with an individual, that individual's mishap or misstep is not a reflection of their entire race or nation or country from which they come from.
Or continent.
Which people do. This is, so it's ignorant as hell, but it is the ignorance that people think about.
People say it all the time.
Good that you put it out there like that. So I'm just we're here to set the record straight that the incident what was this person's name? Nithia had with the Sudanese web designers was the issue with their web design, not with them being Sudanese.
No, it's not. Of course not. No,
but I'm just saying that because I want people to understand.
No, it wasn't the Sudanese.
Will do that, right? Like you'll have a bad incident and then blame that whole culture.
But that's
for that, and it's like
that's what this question is asking. So it's you had a bad experience with one particular culture. Does that mean you should never work with that culture?
That happens to be of that background.
I made a mistake. Yeah, I didn't mean culture. I meant one person whose culture happened to be whatever. But now you say. Because that one person, so what you're kind of saying is one person represents everybody in that culture.
That's not true. And again, the incident had to do with their web design, not their ethnicity. So we just want to clarify for people.
But what they assume is that because of your ethnicity, your web designers are all the same.
And that is the ignorance that people are making this assumption that by default, I should be able to get quality work from someone with a different ethnicity or background.
People do that.
True. So I would advise, I'm not able to say that person's name, but you can say it again. What is it?
Nithia.
There you go. that this person should look for a web designer who can give them samples that most resemble what they're looking for. And they should choose the person or people based on the quality of the work, irregardless. I always want to say irregardless, but I heard it from a movie and I could never stop it. Regardless of their background. And now if they want to purposely support a Black web designing company, then they can prioritize that in their search. But again, focus the query on the quality of the work, not the ethnicity of the designers.
Yeah, I mean, I hate hearing this because it's so messed up.
Ignorance. I was like getting irate when I heard that question.
People do this all the time. They just do it with just a straight up Black owned business. They're like, I got burned once, I'm not getting burned again. Yeah, you got burned by
an individual.
Joe Brown. I mean, that's one person. Why is everybody else damned because of one person's action? He represents everybody for the race that doesn't even exist.
I know.
Like, people do it based off of races.
If so, I'm not getting paid enough in life. If I'm representing all of Blackness, then,
and it doesn't make...
Where's my crown?
To me, that's like a jump. Like, you're not a good detective to say
and
that.
Guess what? Like I said,
everybody's
it doesn't
messed
work
up.
the opposite way. You have a bad incident
I know,
with a person who's not of a color.
With the majority.
You don't just say, "Oh, I refuse to do anything."
I know.
White America
That's what I think is so
like,
funny.
Good luck living in this world. Like, but when it comes to people of color, and any mishap, it's like, the whole culture's dead to them.
Yeah, you can't do that. You gotta do your research, right? And really find, like you were saying, maybe look at some of their past work and see if they're going towards what you're saying.
Like,
do sort of that kind of thing. Don't just
references. Come on, man.
Yeah, maybe you just bought into this company too quick. Maybe it
wasn't clear to you what they could do or not.
It might have been a deceptive ad that pulled you in, but that doesn't mean it had anything to do with the culture. So at least get that together and don't disregard people of African heritage just because of that. Like that's an oversweeping kind of
response
mentality. To have. It doesn't make sense. It's not good. Scenario 3. Kendi moved to a small town for work that does not have many stores, with the nearest Black-owned one being 1,000 miles away. How can Kendi support Black businesses?
That sounds really unfortunate for Kendi. I would say from a physical barrier perspective, but granted, we are in COVID, so a lot of us feel like we are 1,000 miles away from things that we could be doing right now or supporting right now. So I would say, Kendi, look to the digital world. We are in the matrix now, being that we are all just online more than we are in person. And I think it's quite fascinating, the lives that we're living now. And so what could Kendi do for businesses online? Does the also closest business that's 1,000 miles away, do they do any shipping? If not, then look at other businesses that may be other Black-owned businesses that maybe can. I mean, I can't imagine that you're saying Kendi. What's Kendi's pronoun here?
Kendi is a he.
He. I can't imagine. So are you saying that he is the closest Black business is 1,000 miles, like no other business? Business?
And this is not like, this is a true scenario.
Yeah, well, it's like moving to North Dakota, right?
Yeah, there's places
not
where
to say that there aren't Black businesses there may be. I'm not
Well,
sure.
you just named a random place, but there's places that they're
I'm sure
actually thousands of miles away.
Yeah,
no, there's a lot of them too. It's not few and far.
Yeah, so Kendi is going to need to look at online options. Also, Kendi can still promote the business online. Kendi can leverage, his friend network, his family network, like you mentioned, and tell people to support who may be closer or even in the same proximity as him. But again, just getting the word out doesn't mean you can't support. There's, we can't use that excuse of like, oh, I'm not physically near, so I can't do anything like that. That's not appropriate, especially more now than ever. Black businesses are suffering during COVID-19. So we have to step it up, guys.
Yeah. And I just want to mention the best way to support these Black businesses is trying to find these Black businesses that are online. And there's a great way to do that through a couple of apps, and we'll put 2 of the apps in the links. There's more, but the 2 that we know, well, I can't, the second one I just found out about, so I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but the first one is Be Local, and I have both of the apps on my phone, and I use those like whenever I'm buying something. Before I go to the biggest shopping store in America online, I go first and see do any of these Black businesses offer any of the products that I'm trying to purchase.
Nice.
So Kendi could do the same thing. Kendi downloads this app and then just does a search. You just search what product you're looking for or what area you're looking for, and then you'll see what comes up and see. Then you can go to their website and see if they have some of the items you want, and you can order from them. And there you go. Supported a black business using your app on your phone.
Very cool. Now, it looks like we are at that time again. It is coming to the end of our 164th episode of WokeNFree. Like dying witches.
In time for Halloween.
Blah, blah, blah.
That was good. You know, I might hire you for my next like slasher film. It seemed really great.
I'm actually an excellent actress. Thank you for commending me.
Yeah, I'm just like, I was so surprised though with them skills that I started writing a script just for you.
Excellent, yeah.
I did. It was excelente.
Are you reading my sarcasm now? Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't understand sarcasm. It has no place in my realm.
Gotcha. It does not compute. Okay. Cool.
No, I didn't say that. I said my realm. I went to another level. Okay. I took it to that universal level.
Robot man.
No, wait. How can you say that to the universe?
Jesus help you. This was quite the episode discussing why should you support black businesses. Will we leave you hanging for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
On our next episode, we will be discussing whether meetings are really necessary. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on the show, we are primarily only booking for 2021, so you definitely have plenty of time to enjoy the holidays before you start hitting us up. And the best place to do that is on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That is WokenFree.com. When it comes to social media, please hit us up and connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, and TikTok. Hello, TikTokers. We have a lot of fun. Let's be friends. And then any type of collaboration or sponsorship opportunities, same place, Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode, and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokenFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokenFree is more than a podcast, it is a way of life. Until next time.
Stay woke and free, y'all.